Okay, I will explain why that was necessary. Sometimes you have to improvise to test parts before you are using them on the car. I tend to make that a habit because it makes life so much easier when compared to troubleshooting and not knowing where to start, because you did not qualify your parts beforehand. In this case, I was testing the cruise control unit of a Mazda 6, and we will see more of that later on. I guess it's also my way of having fun with the technology, learning new stuff, so I can share those things with you. In order to get the original cruise control system working on the European MX-5 of the NA or NB generation, we need to import the parts from North America and build all of the wiring for it. The heart of the solution is always a cruise control module or unit. On the NA Miata, that unit came from Mitsubishi. For the NB generation, the unit came from Naldec. The goal of my experiment is to determine if the Mazda 6 cruise control can be a reliable and potentially more cost-effective alternative for the NA and NB generation. An important input for any cruise control system is the vehicle speed signal. How else would the system know at what speed the car is driving and how to maintain that speed? For the NA Miata, that signal is generated within the instrument cluster. The rotation of the speedometer cable is used to generate a signal that alternates between 0 and 5 volts. The reed switch in the cluster is using an electromagnetic field to interrupt or re-establish a connection, and does so 8 times per rotation of the speedometer cable. Chances are high that you have never seen this part. It is located on the back of the speedometer, inside the cluster, but on the back of the instrument cluster you can see a label that is called RSW, and by now you can guess what that abbreviation is for. But this is how you could see if a reed switch is actually inside the cluster, yes or no. If those two screws in the circle are not present, then there is no reed switch and therefore also no vehicle speed signal. In Europe, chances are very high that there is no reed switch inside the cluster, because only the cars that came with an automatic transmission have this reed switch. So if you want to do this upgrade, you would need to also have the reed switch inside your cluster. So in the next part of the video, I will be testing the Mazda 6 cruise control system, and I will also test if I can generate a vehicle speed signal that can be interpreted in the right way by the Mazda 6 system. I don't expect you to repeat this kind of test, so it's just like I said, just have some fun and see how I did it. What you see here is my test setup for the Mazda 6 cruise control. So this is the Mazda 6 cruise control unit. I'm using a car battery to feed the system. We have the cruise control switches from the steering wheel of a Mazda CX-7. We have brake switches that we will use as a brake switch, in this case a double brake switch, and this one as a clutch switch. And we have the NA cluster that I can use to generate the vehicle speed signal. Then we have a number of bulbs. This is the cruise main bulb. This is the cruise set bulb, which is also used for diagnostics. And this is the brake light in this setup. So I can switch on the system using the on-off button on the steering wheel, or I can switch it off again. And that's what I'll do, so I can put it in diagnostics mode. So we have now entered diagnostics mode. That means that I can test each of the signals that the system expects. So for example, when I use the brake, you see the brake light lighting up, and then you see a code 31, so 3 long and 1 short. If I use the clutch switch, you should see a code 35, so 3 long and 5 short. If I use the set signal, it should be a code 21. The resume switch is a code 22. And for the vehicle speed signal, I will need to use a drill to simulate the rotation of the speedometer. And in that case, you see a code 37. And I will do that again. So expect to see 37. And then I can leave the diagnostics mode. And then the system can be used for normal operations. What this also proves is that the vehicle speed signal from the NA cluster can work together with this Mazda 6 cruise control system. The same is true for the MX-5 NB Miata. So the NA MX-5 in Europe, that did never come with a cruise control, could use the Mazda 6 cruise control system as well, but then we have to find a different solution for the cruise control switches, which in itself is not very difficult because we have only 4 buttons: on, off, cancel, and set and resume. So we could use different switches for that, not necessarily on the steering wheel, but could also be on the covers around the steering column. This is an example of a switch that I've used before on the European NA as an alternative for the cruise control lever on the NA Miata combination switch. If we use the Mazda 6 cruise control system, you would need an additional switch for the on-off and the cancel buttons. On the NB, you could use the same solution as on the NA, so with the additional switches, or maybe you could try to use the cruise control lever on the combination switch, although the resistor values in that lever do not match up with the Mazda 6 system, so you would have to do something special. The alternative for the NBs is that they could replace the steering wheel altogether, and that's something I've covered in previous videos, so I will not go into that now. In the previous video, I visited the junkyard and I showed which parts of the Mazda 6 you should get and where you can find them on the car. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it inspires you to have some fun with modifications to your own car. This topic is not over. There will be a successor video because I still need to install this system on the NB project car. And I need to make some mechanical changes, maybe develop some brackets to all make it mechanically fit on that car. So expect to see more videos on that in the future. If you've liked this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. All of your feedback is welcome in the comment section below. And for now, I would like to thank you for watching MX5 Info.